Well, we'll get into a conversation with the student groupings and their leaders as we talk about the UTAG strike, which is still grinding. Dr. Christian Philip Ama is President, University Students Association of Ghana. He joins us here. We also have Kofi George Abwa, lead convener, Coalition of Concerned University Students. Both of them join the conversation. And it's all about, well, the UTAG strike. Let me start with you, Dr. Ama. In recent times, last week, Thursday, you had some interactions with UTAG on the back of the latest developments. Looking at how far we have come in this strike, which is still going on, the NLC, as arbiter, invited both government and UTAG to come in Georgia on the 7th, which is Monday. It didn't take place. Yesterday, we had the Vice Chancellor's Ghana also coming together to intervene. Do you feel we're making any progress?
Good morning to you and your viewers. I think we are making progress. The National Labour Commission invited UTAG and the government on Monday. Earlier on Thursday, that was last week, the court directed that within the space of a week, our lecturers should take steps to call off the strike, and government, National Labour Commission also take steps to withdraw the case from court. And so the following day, I think the same day, all the SRC presidents, yes, on Thursday, they said all the SRC presidents had agreed that they were going to petition the Chief of Staff office about the issue. And so that petitioning happened on Thursday. From there, all the SRC presidents moved to the Ministry of Education, met with the minister and also the Ministry of Employment. We tried to also set up another meeting with UTAG. We have always been in touch with them. Yesterday, we were with the national president, and officially our meeting with them is on Thursday as well. And on Friday, the ministry met with Vice Chancellor's Ghana, since UTAG was not too comfortable with the National Labour Commission. So yesterday, the Vice Chancellor Ghana mediated a meeting between government and UTAG. And so we think that the 1 week period that the court gave, we are making progress, and we hope that based on the extensive discussions that have been going on, by Thursday when we go to court, students are hopeful that good news would come to them. And that is what we are all looking for. That is very, very worrying and a sad situation when you visit our university campuses, where almost 5 weeks there has been no academic work going on. And so we are hopeful that the 1 week period the court gave would be fruitful for all of us.
Kofi, the court initially spoke of the groupings resolving their differences by the 10th, by which time they would have to come back to court and the action would be taken from there. But it doesn't appear that is going to happen. Today is the 9th, and not much resolution to that entire affair. But are you hopeful as well? Were you at this gathering yesterday as the Vice Chancellor's Ghana tried to mediate? Were you there? Were you at? You were not there.
I wasn't aware of that form of information.
Right.
I wasn't aware.
But I'm sure you've heard of what emanated from there. Are you as hopeful as Dr. Christian that?
Yeah, Dr. Christian doubles up to be my president at the University Student Association of Ghana.
Right.
I humbly serve as a coordinating secretary. And the whole issue about the UTAG strike, I would appreciate if we are to look at the genesis. And I speak on
briefly
the
on that, because
in August, we get it. When they moved back to the negotiation table, what happened? Why is it that they are now refusing to go back to the negotiation table? So our hope lies on the earnest that the national executives of UTAG would come to a compromise with government. But in the other vein,
but the compromise you speak of must be based on something, right?
Exactly.
We're talking of conditions of service, allowances and the rest, and they've still not.
Our big problem here is that why is government not able to meet them even halfway? Are you sure that if they go back to the negotiation table and government is saying something optimistic, they wouldn't hit to what government is saying? We are all humans. We know that when there is a problem, communication is key. For instance, when you have a problem with two huge bodies, we should have in mind that whatever will transpire within them would depend if there will be peace or there will be a continuous war. So with my coalition leading concerned university students, I believe that university students have paid exorbitant fees, exorbitant hostel fees, and the more this fight is to proceed, it rather affects the academic calendar. It seems a lot of people are not speaking on the repercussions. I mean, if this is to prolong, the university management are being compelled to shut down universities. And we should see how NLC is even handling the issue. I would say, why even, first of all, send them to court? NLC was expecting an...
But that is mere procedure. We've spoken to the leadership, the executive secretary of the NLC. They say that it is procedure. When these actions kick in, they must go to court.
So why is it that the judge then gave them an advice to go back and speak on a negotiation?
That is at the discretion of the judge.
Exactly.
Just like what happened in August last year.
You should realize that they had an enclosed meeting, an indoor meeting, which had information that was shared between these three parties. That's the court, the NLC, and UTAG. You and I were not there. It was just the representatives that told us what transpired. And I strongly believe that if NLC was to meet UTAG in a more appropriate, convincing manner, but rather not bullying them to court, they would appreciate the fact that them being a referee in this matter, they would heed to their advice.
You feel the NLC has acted like a bully?
Personally, I feel that the NLC has acted as a bully. Why do I say this? We all know the role of NLC, which is constitutional in the Act 651. If I'm correct, I would want to reference that particular act. We know that they are to serve as a mediator between the employer and the employee. So if the employee is demanding for specific conditions of service and it has compelled them to go on an industrial strike, what do you do as a referee? It means that you serve as an arbitrator within the two parties, right? So why bully one out of the way, sending the person to court, thinking that you would compel them to call off the strike? You go to court, they tell you to send the matter back and have a peaceful discussion and come back on the 10th. So these are some little things we believe if government was to be very firm on the grounds to instruct NLC to play its key role as a referee or even meet UTAG halfway, it means that there would have been a good news or an outcome. Because as I speak to you, university students are just in their rooms. Most of them are even gone home. You get it? So it places the university student in a sense of dilemma and trauma. So when are we to wait? Should we continue with this stakeholder engagement? That's the big question. So when?
Let's look at your divided front when it comes to the moves to adopt moving forward. The Coalition of Concerned University Students, you had wanted to embark on a demonstration.
Yeah.
And you, on the other hand, you have put out a release that you are not in support of such a demonstration, the overarching USAG leadership, that you are not in support of such a demonstration, that you were not aware there were any such plans. Why this split? Why this faction? Because you would expect that as students, you would be one body en masse, pushing for your concerns to be addressed. But it appears even as USAG, you are split. Why is that, Kofi?
Okay, since my president wants me to start on this conversation, I'll be very glad and honest here that I remember 2 weeks ago when we met the national executives of UTAG. If we'll be honest on this table of discussion, the national executives made us understand that the process of negotiation has been very abysmal. They were very honest with us.
That is UTAG.
UTAG, when we met them. That's representation of USAG and UTAG. We met them at their UG chapter secretariat. And we had preview to a lot of documents. And to me, I was a little bit disheartening because earlier in November, we had the opportunity to meet the Minister of Education. He assured us that when we met him, we told him that we've gotten intel that UTAG will soon go on strike. What is the ministry doing to curb the situation?
Oh, so, you mentioned this to Dr. Yawase.
Oh, yes, of course.
Right.
So when we mentioned that, he boldly told us that it's under control, and in the first time in history, lecturers are taking 300% of increment in their books and research allowance, which is from 1,600 cedis to $1,600 US. So I remember I had an interview on Class FM. I really applauded the minister because I believe lecturers would be very happy, and this was a long-term solution to this impasse. So later when we met UTAG, that was when we had the opportunity to sign documents.
Right.
And the document was an MOU signed between government and relevant stakeholders. We had Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Employment and Labor, UTAG representatives. And that was where the outline of their negotiation was in the government white paper.
Right.
So you could see that though they have increased their book and research allowance, which is from 1,600 cedis to 1,600 US dollars, it was effective in 2024. So in that meeting with UTAG,
and just to chip in, UTAG itself has had concerns with even the bid about $1,600. But you go ahead.
So when we engage them, you see, we speak on behalf of our students. The fight is not helping anyone because at the long run, it affects ordinary Ghanaian students. So they told us boldly that with this book and research allowance that is increased to $1,600, why is it effective in 2024? I have copies of this MOU here, and I believe that the media even have copies of the MOU. So their worry was that if you are increasing the allowance, they are very happy about it. Why is it 2024? Is it a form to compel them to vote for the government which is in power already, or a form to make them understand that you care for them but not now? You care for them in 2020.
So that point is made. Let's get to the thrust of this dichotomy of a split.
So it was in that meeting, I was there with my president and the WOCOM and the person of Ms. Amtu Amayao. And I hinted that I believe UTAG would not continue with their negotiation engagement with government because of the previous documents they've shown to us.
Kofi, did you agree or not as a body, USAG, to go on strike? Or to demonstrate, I mean?
But I'm not demonstrating on behalf of USAG. I'm demonstrating on behalf of the coalition of concerned university students.
So that is settled.
That is
USAG as a group did not decide to go on demonstration.
USAG as a representative body of university students is deciding not to go on a demonstration. Right. I, the National Coordinating Secretary, doubling up as a lead convener of a coalition, believe that this engagement wouldn't help our students.
So why was the impression created at the point that USAG was going to demonstrate?
Yeah, but I didn't create any impression that USAG. I saw you popped up a letter over here.
I've seen the documentation.
Exactly. On that letter, you could realize that I didn't use USAG's name. I used the coalition, and it's my right. It's my right as a student. One is my even right as a national student leader.
Right.
So if I see a communique from my president dissociating the whole union from it,
how did that make you feel? Very briefly.
It doesn't make me feel anything because I have SRC president that are even supporting the demonstration.
Okay.
And tomorrow they will be there.
Right. Christian, why are you not joining this demonstration? It is in your interest, right? I mean, you are concerned about the issues.
Thank you. I think Kofi does not understand the issues going on, so he's trying to mess the issues up. To be fair, we met with UTAG on the 13th of January.
Right.
And they explained their side of the issue to us. The message we had when we were leaving that meeting was that we think the National Labour Commission is not being fair, and so we need to visit them to also understand, because UTAG has told us a story, and in their own estimation or summary, they look good, or their side of the story looks good, and so we need to listen to the National Labour Commission. So when we ended the meeting, Kofi, who was there with us, indicated that he thinks we need to go on a demonstration. And then,
that's what he told you?
Yeah,
yes.
That's what I said in
That is what he told the Women's Commissioner and myself at the end of the meeting. And I told him that we cannot go on a demonstration because we haven't heard the side of all parties. He mentioned that UTAG told us that the 2024 effective date for the research allowance, book and research allowance, they had issues with it, and I think that Kofi is not really getting the fact. In fact, even now...
Which is what? What is the fact?
So the fact is that the research allowance was increased in 2019 to 1,500 cedis from 500 cedis. And then in 2021, when UTAG embarked on the strike and through engagements, they had to call it off. On October 6th, they agreed with government that in 2021, the amount should be increased from the 1,500 Ghana cedis to 2,500 Ghana cedis. And in 2022, they will be paid 6,000 Ghana cedis.
Right.
In 2023, they will be paid 8,000 Ghana cedis. And in 2024, they would be paid the cedi equivalent of $1,600.
Right.
That is the explanation. So it's not as if the Ministry of...
I would humbly want to ask if maybe the payment has commenced. I'm just chipping it in for my president. Yes, please.
So this was the arrangement that UTAG had with government, and they signed on...
You subscribe to that? So you
yes.
And you think it's the way to go?
Yes, and the book allowance was not touched. Book allowance is pegged at $1,500. So there is a difference between research allowance and there is a difference between book allowance. The book allowance, $1,500 was not touched. Now, you said the divided front. I do not see we have a divided front because I do not say for myself. We lead a group of people. And so we have a National Executive Committee, which is made up of all the SRC presidents, plus the 8 National Executive Officers. And so when we have a series of meetings and we agree that we should move in this direction, even if, however, how much I disagree with the position, I am bound by it.
So basically, you don't have that consensus, and that is why you're not joining them for this demonstration.
No, the National Executive Committee had a plan that, first of all, we petitioned the Chief of Staff.
I'm basically saying you don't have that agreement as a group, and that's why you're not joining them for the demonstration.
No, even, I don't know why he's going on demonstration, because on 31st January, after we had the last meeting, Kofi came after the meeting and indicated that whatever proposals that the entire team has agreed on, he stands by it.
I would want to
and
tell
so,
one or two things.
we as UTAG have not...
Thank you, Chris. To wrap the conversation, we don't have that much time. In 20 seconds, tomorrow, you are planning on embarking on a demonstration. Is it coming off?
Yeah, it's coming off.
Okay.
And we have approval from the regional command of the Ghana Police Service.
Right.
We've engaged the national headquarters of the Ghana Police Service. They believe that our voices should be heard.
Okay. All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining the conversation. Dr. Ama, unfortunately, we don't have time. And Kofi, thank you for joining the conversation. Now, do you know that the income of a young entrepreneur from some selected businesses is exempt from tax for 5 years? Any young entrepreneur engaged in manufacturing, information and communications technology, agro-processing, energy production, waste processing, tourism and creative arts, horticulture and medicinal plants does not need to pay any income tax on these activities for the first 5 years of operation. A young entrepreneur engaged in business that enjoys an initial 5-year concession benefits from the following applicable tax rates for an additional 5 years. Now, for Accra and Tema, it's 15%. Other regional capitals outside the 3 northern regions is 12.5%. Outside of the other regional capitals, it's 10%. That's what it's pegged at. And for the 3 northern regions, 5%. Now, for further clarity and information, all you need to do is to reach out to the nearest GRA office, Ghana Revenue Authority, of course, integrity, fairness, and service. So reach out to the GRA if you have any concerns about this. But this is where we sew it up for the AM show for another beautiful morning. The UTAG bit, well, it continues. Hopefully there's some resolution to it. Do have a wonderful day. Don't you forget, at 10 and at noon, we bring you the news. My name is Benjamin Akapo. Have a good day.